Today on the Topping Show, Daily Wire co-founder Jeremy Boring is upset that Brett Cooper isn't defending her replacement Reagan on the comment section. Trump signs executive order to declassify JFK, RFK, and MLK files related to the assassinations. Costco shareholders overwhelmingly vote against a anti-DEI order. Netflix is raising their prices yet again, and Ford is recalling about 270,000 Broncos. All of that and much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guys, he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free Flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the Flamethrower button to learn more, or click the URL in the video description below. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part podcast, you have Costco shareholders voting overwhelmingly against an anti-DEI initiative at over 90+% rate, which is perhaps the biggest ratio of yays versus nays in a corporate vote I've ever seen. Now, this comes to us thanks to Kelly, who's a writer at Axios, and she says, quote, Costco shareholders overwhelmingly reject anti-DEI measure. And there you can see the iconic Costco building with all the great value, literally everything from eggs to platinum and gold bars, which talk about a very diverse portfolio. Now, they say, quote, more than 98% of Costco shareholders voted down an anti-DEI proposal at the company's annual shareholders meeting, according to preliminary vote results. Now, they say why it matters. Diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts are falling out of favor and coming under legal scrutiny under Donald Trump's presidency in the White House. Anti-DEI shareholder proposals have surged in the past few years. They say that the anti-DEI proposal was filed by the National Center for Public Policy Research, a conservative think tank. Costco grabbed headlines over the holiday when his board of directors put out a robust defense of his DEI efforts in response to anti-DEI proposals, which, I don't know. Have you ever read a report that showed the fiscal improvements of the company in terms of like maybe more sales or increased efficiencies when they enact and roll out DEI initiatives? I haven't seen an overwhelming, skyrocketing in profit or anything like that anytime they seem to roll these things out. And they're becoming more and more controversial with more and more people wondering, wait a minute, isn't this technically illegal to treat people differently based on things they can't control, like their race and their gender? To which the moral and legal answer is yes, absolutely. That's why I suspect, especially this year, you're going to see more and more court orders shooting down DEI initiatives. Now they're saying, quote, the fact that 98% of investors voted against the proposal shows that almost all investors are not buying what anti-ESG and anti-DEI organizations are selling. This according to Jonas Krohn, the Trillium Asset Management's chief advocacy officer, said in a statement to Axios. Krohn said it's also a strong indication that all the media reports of the death of DEI and ESG are way overblown. The investing community clearly understands the importance and value of ESG and DEI approaches and are ready to express through their votes. This, and obviously this is a instance where this is true in terms of, again, 98%, that's pretty big. Again, every shareholder should always vote when they have the opportunity. That's, one of the big values of being a shareholder of a company is get some say in how they operate. I know not everyone does. You usually don't have 100% participation, but still pretty pathetic that, 98% said they want to go, they voted down. So they want the DEI at Costco, which, again, I don't see how that's going to make the company more profitable or operate more efficiently. And we're seeing major companies move away. So it's, this venture capitalist is saying, oh no, this is a good thing. I mean, most major businesses from Walmart to McDonald's, all the big, even the, Tractor Supply, Home Depot, a lot of these companies, Lowe's as well, Harley Davidson, they're all moving away from it. Now, some of them are just rebranding it. We'll see if they actually change their practices in execution. But I think more and more shareholders are pushing away from it. And at the end of the day, I think it will be struck down on a legal base as well. But again, pretty astounding. 98% said they want DEI at Costco. And Costco is very, historically very well operated company. Now, they also have the union there clamoring for more wages, even though, they have good profits, but the profit margins aren't the best. It's under 3%, which makes sense. It's mostly grocery items. They make most of their business and most of their profit from the membership fees. But we'll see what the future holds for Costco. But let me know in the comments if you're a shareholder of Costco. Do you want them to have more DEI initiatives, or would you want them to get rid of it? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have Netflix raising their prices yet again as people continue to, for some reason, pay for media. When again, you have free awesome content on the Rumble, on the YouTube, and the Spotify. It boggles my mind that people still pay for media when there's so much free awesome stuff out there on them internets. Like this, the topping show. Though it is optional, you can also just give it a free thumbs up. Now, this comes to us thanks to Natalie, who's a writer at Salon. Now, she says, quote, Netflix is raising its prices after a surge in subscribers, which, again, they added over 300,000, I believe, or sorry, 300 million. Now, they say the streaming service credited live sporting events for this spike in signups, where, they had that rudimentary fight with, was it Logan Paul, one of the Paul brothers, and Mike Tyson, which they actually crashed the servers, or, they had the outage during the fight. And, I don't think anyone was actually satisfied with that fight, but it did occur and got some revenue for them, obviously. Now, they say, quote, the streaming service standard monthly membership without advertisements will rise from $15.49 to $17.99 before extortion or sales tax. A standard account with ads will increase by $1 to $7.99. The premium tier will increase by $2 to $24.99, which, who the hell's paying $25 per month for media? That's insanity. $25? To me, that's just ridiculous. Now, they said that Netflix announced its price increase. It said that 19 million new subscribers were signed up the last quarter of 2024, its largest jump ever. Netflix now streams 302 million people around the world. It previously raised prices on its standard plan in 2022, which, again, I still can't believe during a tough economic year with high inflation, Americans still bought the Netflix, a thing you don't need. But apparently they have some hit shows like The Squid Game, which I assume is a historical documentary on the Discovery Channel that is licensed to Netflix, perhaps. And they also have WWE, which somehow still exists. And there's more and more competition. You got Disney Plus, Max, which is stupid. It's HBO. They have Peacock, which 10 people watch because of The Office. Then you have the Apple. And then, I was about to say Hulu, but Disney bought them out, the remaining stake from Comcast recently. So it's Disney and Hulu combined now. But yeah, I still can't believe, you also have Americans with $1 trillion in credit card debt. Should we really be buying this crap? Is it just me that can't understand paying so much for a Netflix account? I mean, let me know. Do you think at these new price points, is it still worth the value to have a Netflix subscription? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the Cultural Department podcast, you have the Daily Wire co-founder Jeremy Boring upset that Brett Cooper isn't defending her replacement on the comments section, Reagan, who is also affectionately known as Timu Brett Cooper. Now, this comes with thanks to X, and this was apparently actually a little video from the premium Banana Falcon membership package from the Daily Wire. You get another subscription you can get. And this is behind their paywall, but it's going viral as someone reposted it on X. This comes with thanks to America First. And he says, quote, extremely upset and distressing that Brett Cooper can't be bothered to defend Reagan, especially since Brett Cooper recommended her as replacement of the show. I only hope Brett could eventually release a statement of some kind to combat the vicious rumors, which, yeah, she's also very common in media, has probably more NDAs than a CIA contractor. Brett Cooper really can't say much, and that's why she's been so quiet. I mean, the biggest things we know for sure is that it probably is more of a untasteful departure. Is that you see Brett Cooper unfollowing, the top people from the Daily Wire, and you saw her like a couple comments and people noticing, oh, wait a minute, she's now not following her, her best friend, or formerly her best friend Reagan Conrad, former her bridesmaid. She deleted the photos that they were together, and she unfollowed her on the Instagram, which you usually don't do that. If someone's still your friend, you usually don't unfollow them, as far as I know. Now, without too much further ado, again, this is Jeremy Boring, the co-founder of the company. So fancy. He's got 2 laptops. Look at that. That's pretty cool.
The entire time that there's been the comment section, not from the very earliest days, but almost the entire time too.
It's also lost almost, 500,000 subscribers down to 4.02 million subscribers for the comment section, and the views are down 72% compared to the previous 30 days, which is not great to say the least, losing about, what was it, $45,000 subscribers per week? Not to brag, but I got 13 subscribers last week.
2 years, has been the producer of the show, has helped to write the show every single day, 2 episodes a day, and has been Brett's best friend. And so, some of the accusations against Reagan have been really ugly, like that she's impersonating Brett. Well, that's unfair. If Reagan seems a bit like Brett, it's because she's Brett's best friend and one of the writers and the producer of the show. She's worked as much on the show every day on what the show would look like and feel like and sound like as.
Now, believe it or not, contrary to the comment section on some of my channels or some of my videos more accurately, I do have more than one friend, believe it or not. And as far as I know, you don't mirror your friend's body language, voice tone, and pretty much all of their mannerisms. I mean, you might have some common catchphrases or like a group high five or something to that effect. But yeah, it's not like this instance. This instance, we've seen a juxtaposition of videos where you see Brett Cooper, you see how she performed, and then the Reagan replacement, he has the exact same tone, enunciations, and body language and hand gestures. It's pretty much a carbon copy. And yeah, for unless you're trying to mimic your friend in a comedic way, usually you don't have all the same mannerisms and stuff.
Brett has for these last 2 years. They've done that together. Obviously, they have a lot in common in terms of their delivery because they have helped craft the show together. Some of the rumors I saw that we sent Reagan to acting lessons to make her more like Brett, that's absolutely absurd and deeply offensive. Reagan's enormously talented. She's been an enormous part of building the comment section for the last 2 years. And I've never sent her to an acting lesson. She's never asked me to send her to an acting lesson. I've never asked her to do anything to be more like Brett. If anything, we've told her make the show as much your own as you can while maintaining the format. But she is like Brett because
why did they let her? I don't know why this bugs me, but why didn't they let her switch up the studio or the design aesthetics? Like usually it's very personal to have your background on your daily show or your YouTube channel. And I know it's the comment section, it's the Daily Wire intellectual property. They spent probably tens of millions of dollars building it up with advertising, marketing, as well as developing the talent there. But it literally was just a copy paste of take the other talent out and put the new talent in. And again, everything on the table was the same. Everything in the background was the same. They didn't try to switch out some of the fun things in the background to make it more personal to Reagan, make it more her show. I mean, it literally just felt like almost like Indiana Jones, where he's flipping out the little talisman when he's in the temple, and yet, yeah, they expect us to think, oh yeah, it's totally different. It's like, it sure feels like she was copying everything.
Because they are friends and collaborators, have been collaborators on the show. It's actually ironic because I did send Brett to various kinds of lessons as a performer, not acting lessons. Brett's a terrific actress and always, the entire time I've known her, she has been, as will be evident when you see the Pendragon cycle.
Yeah, is that back at?
But I did send her to dancing lessons and singing lessons in preparation for her role as Snow White. I sent her to dialogue coaching sessions to help her with her role in the Pendragon cycle, and that's good. That's like saying that you shouldn't send a performer to lessons is like saying that my political host shouldn't read books. They should just know everything. It should all be natural. What nonsense. You should always be making yourself better, and Brett did take steps to make herself better and better and better, and I'm sure will continue to. And perhaps Reagan will as well, but what Reagan hasn't done is taking acting classes to be more like Brett Cooper. That is just completely absurd, and it's hurt my feelings a little bit that Brett hasn't done more to defend her friend Reagan. Brett chose to leave the show. It was her idea.
She chose to leave the show. It's all her, and yet she's just quiet the whole time. She's the one that has the NDA and can't talk. And again, it's a standard media practice, but it's kind of weird that he's poking her like, why aren't you saying nice things about your replacement? I mean, an overwhelming majority of the time, even if let's say Brett found a new job at somewhere at a different company, which I think the biggest red flag that we know she was fired, she doesn't have a new job yet. She's kind of funny that she's gaining more subscribers at an exponentially greater rate than her replacement on her channel when Brett has not even posted a video yet. And yet, Yeah, why would you? I can't think of many instances where you would actually give accolades or defend someone who took your job from you, or even just replaced your job. And again, I don't think anyone thinks, oh yeah, this is an amicable departure of the talents. I mean, I don't think anyone feels that way.
Her stated desire to leave the show and to leave the company. She had personally recommended Reagan to me. Before she told me she wanted to leave the show, she had personally recommended Reagan to me and told me that if she ever did leave the show, Reagan would be a great person to consider to host it, and that at any rate, I should give something to Reagan because she should be on screen talent. And the audience, whenever Reagan would guest host the comment section, the audience loved her. The comments were almost universally positive. In fact, many of the things that they're now criticizing her for in the comments were the things that they liked most about her when they didn't know that Brett was leaving the show. And for that reason, I know that most of these attacks on Reagan are completely unfair. They're completely disingenuous. People aren't really raising these criticisms. They're either helping to craft or buying into a narrative which has been crafted by people who want the Daily Wire to fail and want Reagan to fail in the role. And both will be disappointed because Reagan will not fail in this role. And the Daily Wire will not fail. We continue to grow and we continue to succeed, and business is hard, and we'll go through it. You're always going to.
Interesting body language he has there. Again, the views are down at 72% compared to the previous 30 days, and they lost, 500,000 subscribers from the comment section. She's down to 4.02, which again is still a huge amount, but now her videos are getting between like 20 and 30,000 per video, which, given the overhead of the Daily Wire with 250 plus employees, I can't imagine they're making any money on the channel right now. I can't think they're surely bleeding at this point. Again, they have a lot of good marketing talent over the Daily Wire. They have a lot of capital to reinvest in the company, and with enough ad dollars, you can definitely find a new audience for the comment section. But yeah, right now, that's of all the channel analytics, it's the channel that's hurting the most. I don't see it making a profit. Again, they're still losing about 50,000 to 60,000 per week from the comment section. Some of the other channels are more stagnant. They're growing, but at a very, very small rate compared to previous fiscal quarters.
We go through a little bit of a downturn in audience after a very popular host leaves a show. But Brett will go on and build her next thing, and she'll do just fine and continue to be very successful. And Reagan will continue to find her footing with her new role as host of the comment section and continue to thrive. And absolutely, we will do other kinds of content with Reagan. Reagan and Brett are different. We did other kinds of content with Brett in the form of acting. She played a very important role in the Pendragon cycle because Brett is a very gifted actress. And the entire.
So that's what they're saying on the Inside channel over there. And we're moderately viral. Got about 70,000 views and 414,000 likes. Now, one of the first questions is the right reason, saying, where did they post this video? Getting 9 likes. American First says the live Q&A part of the app, you have to be an All Access member, getting 21 likes, which, again, that's why the Daily Wire is so extraordinarily successful. They have over 200 million subscribers? It's astronomically impressive. Jai Rogers says, quote, it's likely that Brett has an NDA, so it would be very much that she cannot speak, or at least is being careful, but she accidentally says or say something she shouldn't. Glad Jeremy is defending Reagan. Hope everything works out for all the parties. Getting 49 likes, which, Bud Light still has sales to this day. Lost about $1 billion in sales year over year compared to the prior Dylan Mulvaney controversy, 1.2 billion, but who's counting? It's stabilized in terms of they're not losing any more sales at Bud Light, but they're also not really increasing the market share again. For over 20 years, they were the #1 beer in North America, or United States at least, by sales. Yeah, Modelo took that spot, which in the U.S. is owned by Constellation Brands. Yes, in other countries it's owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev, but in the U.S. they lost that crown. You also have Sir Rank Productions saying, quote, she probably can't comment because she's most likely under an NDA, as is usually the case with sudden departures from media companies, getting 34 likes. Yep. Oh, Hi Mark says, Daily Wire made a massive mistake here. They need to shutter the program and reflect on the problem with women, or their problem with women. The best possible way forward is to launch a better version of The View with a rotating panel of conservative women commenting on the news of the day and early night. Getting 39 likes, which that wouldn't be a terrible idea, actually. The View is hilarious. I think 18 people watch it, like, seriously. and everyone else just watches it for the junk that it is. But again, they have such a high amount of capital reserves and a lot of good people in marketing. I'd say give it 2 fiscal quarters. Maybe let's have a growth rate at the comment section again, because again, they're losing 50 to 60,000 subscribers per week. It used to be 10,000 per day. The rate is actually getting slightly better in that regard. Now it's like almost 10,000 every other day. So again, eventually the leaking on the ship will stop. Now the views, that's where it's a little concerning from a business perspective. Again, they're only getting $20,000 to $30,000, 20 to 30,000 views per video, which again, for their business size and their overhead, not sustainable long term. Van Miller says, quote, his body language is all over the place. Can't even maintain eye contact with the camera and keeps touching his mouth and nose, getting 18 likes, which, yeah. Again, it's also a live Q&A, so he's probably doing a little bit more improv than usual. I mean, it is, he was a little bit more awkward in terms of his body language compared to when he was doing addressing the Steven Crowder controversy about a year ago when they made an offer to his company, Louder Crowder, to be a part of the Daily Wire team. I mean, that being said, when it comes to awkward body language, I don't have much of a soapbox to stand on. Lord knows I look extraordinarily awkward on the camera these days. Scrolling down more and more, you also have Dallas Choir saying, quote, and yet people will still choose to run with the stupid narratives. They are more interested to them. The maturity of the grown adults never ceases to astound me. Getting 3 likes. Shelly Belly says, quote, obviously she still feels hurt, and I'm sure she signed a very detailed NDA. I almost would rather Jeremy not say anything about Brett directly, just say that Reagan deserves a fair chance. He's making it worse, getting 19 likes, which, yeah, it's kind of the growing elephant in the room is, again, Brett's departure. And again, not only do they most likely have an NDA, which, again, is very standard. I mean, shoot, I do them all the time in cybersecurity. But another very popular thing in media companies is a non-disparagement agreement. That's why you never hear Tucker Carlson. He'll never say anything negative about Fox News, because you're basically getting paid a nice amount of money to not talk, as the title would entail, not disparage your previous employer. So I'm sure Brett Cooper had a standard, boilerplate NDA, which is already from what I hear with the Daily Wire contracts, already pretty a little bit tighter than usual for the industry. But she also probably had to sign a non-disparagement agreement, or more accurately, agreed to sign a non-disparagement agreement in exchange for a last bonus before she left. Let's see. Maybe 1 or 2 more comments here. Schleck says, quote, I don't know about you guys, but I lost a ton of respect for Brett. She has not even come out once to defend Reagan, which by doing that would boost the show and make Reagan stop losing viewers. Getting 18 likes, which, again, the fact that she unfollowed her friend, deleted the pictures of her friend and former bridesmaid from social media, I mean, most likely it was not her friend any longer, and it was probably some friction between them. Again, if they had like a full episode where they did like I don't know if it'd be too awkward to have 2 people hosting the same show at the same time, but if it was a truly happy departure where each party was happy and they're going in the right directions, they would have had maybe a couple episodes where they co-host it and have a one final send-off. Again, with a lot of these departures, it's just bang, they're gone. Very similar to Candace Owens. She had that episode and then she just vanished. Obviously, she was let go, or they paid her out the rest of her contract. But yeah, but Jeremy bringing this up, and again, it was a Q&A, so he's answering the questions to the best of his ability on the spot. But yeah, it seems to almost make the situation worse. But yeah, I mean, slowly but surely, the comment section seems to be getting better in regards to the audience. The comments are usually about 50-50 negative versus positive. There's a lot of speculation. I haven't seen too many hard facts in terms of, are they buying bots to make, the comment section more positive. There's a lot of speculation in that regard. But let me know. I mean, again, they have over 200 million subscribers by now, I believe. I mean, it is an astronomically successful company. They're valued at $1 billion, which is even more incredibly successful from a media perspective. It's one of the most cutthroat industries, bar none. So they have the fiscal as well as the personnel resources to turn the company around, or specifically for the comic section. The real question is, how long are they willing to lose money on that specific channel before they need ROI? But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have Trump issuing an executive order to declassify JFK, RFK, and MLK Jr. assassination files, and he will give the pen to RFK Jr., which, yeah, I can't help but think, I almost reminiscent every time I hear something like that. I almost hear Harrison Ford, it belongs in a museum, which perhaps is the worst impression of Harrison Ford you've heard all year, but it's only, January. Now, this comes with thanks to Alex Jones on X, and he says, quote, breaking, Trump has signed an executive order to declassify the JFK, RFK, and MLK Jr. files and requested that the pen be given to RFK Jr. Which, yeah, I was going to say, in terms of promises made, promises kept, Trump has been probably the most successful ratio of any politician in my lifetime. Again, I still can't believe he pardoned Ross Ulbricht, the former founder of the Silk Road. That was a big win for libertarian parties, like a hero in that among them. And yeah, Trump is just knocking it out of the park left and right.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years.
Decades.
Decades.
Called it.
And everything will be revealed. Okay? Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Probably one of the best news in politics we've seen in years. Now, again, it'll be interesting to see what comes out in the materials when we actually can read them. I can't but wonder, who's shredding the most files in the U.S. government right now? Is it the FBI, the CIA, or the FDA? I mean, who has those paper shredders just working 24/7, scared shitless of what we might find? Now, this previous file got 62.6 million views and 455,000 likes. Now, one of the first comments comes from Clayman007 saying, quote, now release the Epstein 9/11 files and everything to be revealed. No redactions, getting 12,000 likes. Alex Jones says, bingo, or C5 says, yeah, that's a bingo. We're going to see what they got in the files there. Got 3.2 thousand likes for that. Anti-woke memes, a little disappointing. They did not, in fact, respond in meme form. Simply says, win after win, gained 2.1 thousand likes. Amen to that. We also have, let's see here. World Hall of Fun saying, quote, the deep state is in shambles. We the people have the right to know. The day they killed JFK was the day that democracy died. Thank God Trump is a fighter. Such a monumental victory for the truth, transparency, and justice. God bless JFK and DJT. God bless America. Gained 1,000 likes. Let's see. Edgar Friendly says, quote, couple more to keep up the momentum. And I don't know what cartoon or video game this is from, but you have a very small, looks like a Spartan warrior named Citizens. Then one giant adversary is RFK, JFK, MLK files. And the even bigger adversary is Epstein and Diddy files. Gained 1.4 thousand likes, which, yep, I was going to say that. I can't but wonder, was that why so many celebrities were leaving the past couple fiscal quarters? Was it because Trump was going to win, or is it because those files might be released someday? Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. The Angry Alaskan has a picture of RFK Jr., or sorry, JFK, saying, quote, how do we handle Cuba? He says, the team put together something called Operation Northwoods. Then you have Kennedy saying, quote, I swear to God, that guy is going to be my biggest headache. Oh, Jesus. Getting 45 likes. Last Carnivore says, quote, well, we finally found out Lee Harvey Oswald was just a patsy, getting 432 likes. Spear says, hopefully they'll put out the files for Trump himself after investigation of the Creasy incel took a shot at him, getting 33 likes. I had to squint for a second there. Brickhouse simply says, awesome, getting 67 likes. Yeah, it's suspicious how, every time there's an assassination attempt, it's like we know everything about that person or the major shooting or, major crime. We know all the details about the bad guy in minutes. And yet, it's so ridiculous. They had to delineate the first Trump assassination attempt. We still barely know anything about him. Which, as youth might say, is sus. Because I guess time is too precious for them to actually spell out suspicious. Let's see. Not too many contrarian statements here. So some of the best news in terms of political transparency. Let's see. Do one or two more. Bad good guy? Interesting name. Says, I also want 9/11, Las Vegas Massacre, and Epstein files. No more lies and some accountability. Getting 4.4 thousand likes. Which, yeah, There's a lot of people doing analytics around the Las Vegas massacre where they're comparing the sound that you heard in terms of the machine guns or the alleged bump stock guns, and actually playing that sound compared to someone doing it in real life. A lot of people saying that the fire rate was too fast. It was actually, a lot of people are speculating that the Las Vegas massacre was multiple shooters. So that's a lot of questions for that in and of itself. But let me know, do you think this is just the first of many wins under the Trump administration? And what do you think they might find in those files? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Ford to recall about 270,000 Broncos yet again, which, God bless Ford. People still buy their stuff despite recall after recall after recall. Perhaps only Jeep is worse in terms of reliability, and yet people still buy it. I am impressed the brand is that strong. People continue to buy it, seemingly no matter what. Now, this comes to us thanks to NBC News, and they say, quote, Ford recalls over 270,000 Bronco Sport and Maverick vehicles for 12-volt battery failure issues. The recall affects certain 2021 to 2023 Bronco Sport SUVs and 2022 to 2023 Maverick pickup trucks. And there you can see the fun Bronco outside by the mountains, as all three of them will do, as most of them are just pavement queens. Though, I do have to admire Ford. That is the only stick-shift SUV you can buy in North America new. Though, granted, if I won the lottery, I'd probably get a Porsche, the Porsche Cayenne GTS, which is a stick-shift V8 SUV they made around 2009. They only imported like 300 of them, but if you want a crazy, funny, like, stick-shift SUV, that's what I would go for. But I'm a little bit unusual in that regard. I know most people just want two pedals these days, as sad as that is. This comes to us thanks to Mr. Burke, who's the writer over there, saying, quote, Ford recalled hundreds of thousands of vehicles because of concerns over battery failure issues. They say that the NHTSA said the 12-volt battery may experience, quote, degradation and suddenly fail. Battery failure and it's funny, it's a government document for this part, so you have to spell it out in the most bland government way. They say, quote, battery failure can result in loss of electrical accessories. Who'd have thunk it? Including the hazard lights, or cause loss of drive power, increasing the risk of a crash, unquote. Which, yes, thanks to you for spelling out the obvious. Great job earning your dollars, government employee. They say, quote, Ford said this is a supplier manufacturer defect. Of course, not them. It's not them, it's a supplier, which, sure. But isn't allegedly the someone at Ford Motor Company in charge of your subcontractors and suppliers? That's allegedly a job over there, right? Again, I understand a vehicle is one of the most complex things most people ever buy in their life. There's between 10,000 and 30,000 individual components of a vehicle. It's extraordinarily complex. Now, that being said, it makes sense. A lot of this outsourced. There's a lot of subcontractors, Bosch being one of the largest ones on the planet. But part of your job is qualifying the parts that are good to put onto your vehicle, because, again, the subcontractor for this, it doesn't matter. Most of these types of businesses are indirect sales models. So most people will never know the brand or never need to buy that brand directly. And yet you'll see the brand Ford. That's the one that's issuing the recall. So it hurts their brand because they didn't take care of their supply chain and reliability of the parts that they're acquiring. Now, they note that owner notification letters will be mailed out around February 3rd. The recalled vehicles should be inspected, and if necessary, a dealer will replace the 12-volt battery for free of charge, which is also not great for the dealers because, again, that's dealership as warranty work or recall work, which they're paid at much greater. It's a discounted pay rate that they receive. Now, the manufacturer, Ford, is going to pay them for that work, but they could be making a lot more money doing standard maintenance work or upselling the customer on other accessories and installs like that. So it's frustrating for the customers because, again, you got to drive there, have them fix this, and maybe you get lucky and they have a loaner vehicle. Maybe not. You have to Uber somewhere the whole time they're replacing it. But again, it doesn't bode well with one of the companies that has one of the worst reliability ratings to keep having more and more recalls. And especially this, where this seems so simple. Again, I know there's a lot of parts that go into it, but the fact that they're not doing more quality assurance with the supply chain and their subcontractors is pretty concerning. And I gotta say, Ford, that is yet again why you are the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.